Hey, I'm Seth Hawkins. Welcome to the CedTalks Podcast. My guest today is a YouTuber, self-improvement member, and I'm so glad to have him on the show, and I appreciate his time. Right now, here is GloPierre, a.k.a. Pierre Amichia. Pierre, yes, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm blessed to be here. Thank you for having me on, man. It's a great opportunity for real.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to the boy Jordan Green. Shout out to Jordan for setting this up, allowing this to happen. I'm definitely glad this happened. When he mentioned your name, I thought of the meme from Jimmy Fox show. Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Yeah, man. I can't even tell you how many times, I'm introducing myself to people or people hear my name for the first time, and that's the first thing they think of. Like, yo, Pierre. Like, yeah.
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, right off the bat, man, I gotta ask you, from a mental standpoint, how is your mental health? I know right now it's the winter time. We're going through a tough season. So in this moment, how is your mental health?
Man, I think I'm blessed. I think I'm good. I'm just building momentum right now, and that's really important. And like you said, it is winter. I feel like in the past, and usually, maybe for most people, but I know for me, when winter hits, you usually, you regress and you slip back into old habits and you do these things. But I've really been keeping tabs of that, and I've been trying to stay my best self, not only for myself, but for my people on YouTube and being a example. So I've been doing good, man. Just building momentum. How about yourself?
I've been doing good myself. Like, I know with me in the winter, probably I want to say 2017, when I was 17, senior year in high school, that's when I started noticing that when the weather changed, my mental health would really take a decline for the worst, and it would take months for things to really turn back around. And like you said, this was the first winter where I really took the steps necessary to better myself, just because, I didn't want to make that excuse of, oh, it's winter time and it's cold out, so this is how I'm going to be. I'm just going to be a sad sack. Like, I went and got vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, got myself a lamp, it's like sunlight. It's like a UV lamp, and I reflected on myself in the evening times because the sun sets earlier. So I got myself those things just to really boost myself up and boost my mental health and just improve it. Of course, we all have our bad days and stuff, but I will say, like, it's definitely been beneficial taking those steps, taking those vitamins twice a day, and getting that sunlight from my lamp and doing those things. It's really worked for me.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, man. I really am.
Yeah, and of course, staying consistent with the podcast also and talking with people, because of course, I'm doing my school virtually, so I'm still not out there mingling with people my age. So getting the chance to do podcasts like this and get to talk with people for 45 minutes to an hour is like a really great opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What were some of the things that you took up, that you did this winter to really turn your mental health around?
Man, so first thing, I started really getting into yoga. I've always wanted to kind of start, but you'll start out for a day or two and then you fall off. You don't feel like it maybe this day. But no, I've really been egging myself on to do this thing like every day, just to really strengthen that connection with the mind and the body. It's really, at first, it's really people might say yoga, that's what moms do. But nah, man, like, I really recommend everybody to start practicing yoga because, you put yourself in these uncomfortable positions and, you just getting used to being uncomfortable and finding that stabilization through your breath, breathing in and out. And yeah, man, it's really a great practice. So yoga, I've been doing more cold showers. Usually I do contrast showers, so I start out hot, start cold. But lately I've just been getting straight into the cold shower, even if it's cold outside, build up that mental resistance. And just drinking more water, making sure I'm staying on top of these things, and also kind of limiting my technology. It's winter outside. You just want to stay in bed, be on Netflix all day, or be on your laptop, be on your phone. But I'm putting more time to just sit in silence, just let my thoughts wander, just do what I gotta do in that sense, Right. So those are the things I've been picking up lately, and it's been really working well for me. I'm starting to see the difference,
Yeah. With the yoga, do you do that yoga on YouTube? Do you take certain classes for it? Like, talk to me about that, because that's something that I definitely really want to get into. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I just look up yoga on YouTube, and I just watch one. You could do yoga for blood flow, yoga for flexibility in mind and body. You can do all these things. They have a whole lot of yoga. So it's not anything that you really need to be, well versed in. I just started like a week ago, and it's really simple. It's really convenient. You just need some space, a laptop, a phone, and you just follow whatever they're doing. And it's really beneficial, man. Your body feels, a lot more just relaxed and just, how do I explain it? It's just a really nice feeling once you start doing it consistently, man.
Man, that's dope. Like, I could definitely need to try that out. I meditate a lot. I love meditating. I'll do that in the afternoon. I'll do it at night before I go to bed, listen to some scriptures, to some sermons, and that's how I'll meditate and ground myself. But yoga was definitely something that I've been wanting to get into, and it's just a matter of going out and do it. Because you can always talk about it, but once you do it and you're consistent with it, then it becomes better and it gets manageable. Because I just started lifting, I want to say, in November, and I've seen a difference, in my body and how I feel, and I jog a lot too, but I definitely wanted to implement yoga. I think that would definitely calm my mind down and also just make me more flexible, really.
Yeah, and I feel like for lifting, because I've been lifting for a while as well, it's really important to stretch and do yoga, because whenever you lift, especially whenever you lift heavier weights, your body, you get sore, your muscles get sore as well, and you might not even know that you're sore in some places and your mobility is limited in some places. So when I really started stretching more and doing yoga, I was able to really stretch all these areas and all these different parts of my body, so that whenever I do go back and lift, my performance is improved because, my body isn't so tight and isn't so limited anymore.
Right, exactly. Well, I'm glad that really benefits you and that works out with you. I think it was in December. I didn't stretch and I went out and I jogged. And I remember after I finished taking my shower, I got in my room, changed and whatnot, and I got a Charlie horse in my leg. I was oh my goodness. So I was laying on the ground, right, trying to let it ride out and whatnot. I stand up, get a Charlie horse in my other leg. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I can't move. I ain't had a Charlie horse since I was like 12. And when it hit me, I was just like, man, I need to start stretching. I need to do something. So that's when I just really started like stretching my body and everything out before I worked out. But yoga is definitely something that I'm going to try and take up. Like, I'll definitely let you know how it benefits me and works out for me when I start doing it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me know the progress. Let me know if you got any questions with that. I'm glad to help. And yeah, man, those Charlie horses are vicious, bro.
Them
joints are crazy, bro.
I'm hip. But shifting gears from that, I definitely want to talk about your YouTube journey and how you picked that up. But you mentioned to me before we started recording that you're in college. How do you find that balance between doing YouTube videos in college? I'm not sure if you're working, but how do you achieve that balance?
Man. I'm not gonna lie and say it's easy. You definitely have to be aware of how you're managing your time. I'm not even perfect with that myself. Sometimes after homework, after 3-4 hours of homework, and it's late, and I know I gotta record a video, I'll just be like, you know what, I'll put that off until the next day. And if you do that, it's easy to become inconsistent with YouTube. But I always make sure that I know to stay on top of YouTube, because this is something that, I'm really passionate about. I really want to help people. And I know that if I slack up with that, it's going to eat me inside. So I know any time that I have available, any 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I can get a video done in that time, And usually when I do record my videos, I do them later at night, and I try to get my schoolwork mostly done before 7-8 p.m. But if that doesn't happen, then I still record late night. Even though it's not the best, I still record 2, 3, 4 in the morning sometimes just to get the video out. But it's really about managing your time properly. I create a schedule. I have a to-do list. Just really being aware of things you have to do in the day. Because it's a lot being a college student. For sure, I'm sure you know that as well. So, really just visualizing, putting what you need to do out in a schedule, and just going list by list, time by time, and try and getting those things done.
Right, most definitely. Because I work a full-time job on top of going to school full-time, on top of trying to balance this podcast, on top of trying to manage a social life on top of that. So it's like, it's definitely difficult, but I've been in college for 4 years now, so I'm more better at prioritizing my time now and learning what to give my attention to the most as it pertains to what I'm, going for, because it's definitely tough and it's difficult, but usually I try to get my work done as soon as possible, so that way I can free up time to do podcast recordings, or sometimes for a week or two, I'll just stack up on recording, so that way I can focus on my schoolwork, focus on my writing and my sketching, because I like to sketch, focus on those things, but I'm still uploading content and I still have stuff backed up. So it is tough and it's difficult, but it's like once you learn to prioritize your time and give attention to what gives you that joy and that satisfaction, then by all means you're good to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, talk to me about the importance of delaying short-term gratification and taking in long-term gratification. I know in life it's difficult and we want everything quick and we want it now, but it's more enjoyable when you take your time and then you receive that result in due time when it takes longer. So talk to me about that, the importance of delaying short-term gratification and strive for getting long-term gratification.
Yeah, man, good things come to those who wait, and it's really, really, really important, especially in 2022 in our day and age where, you have cell phones, laptops, TVs, video games, all these, you got social media, TikTok, all these things that can give you that quick dopamine hit, you see a notification pop up on your phone, dopamine hit, it's just these things that, if you're really not mindful, you're not careful, you can become a slave to these things really fast, and it's long-term gratification is so important because it's just building, that's creating momentum, and I talked about that earlier. You want to create momentum so that these harder tasks that you do on the daily get easier mentally, because you could say, for example, cold showers, right? Cold showers don't get any easier. Your mind just tolerates them better, The water's still cold. Lifting weights. The weight doesn't change, The weight doesn't get any lighter. Your body gets stronger, So it's just doing these small tasks, creating these small victories day by day. You're going to be able to build momentum for bigger W's later in the path, right? But you can't do these things now if you don't have a sense of delayed gratification. It's easier to put that shower, switch the knob to the highest setting and just jumping in. It's easier to do that. It's easier to sit in your bed all day on TikTok, scrolling through whatever. It's easier to do that. But you're comfortable like that. And comfort is the killer of all men. When you're comfortable, you don't grow. You feel me? So putting yourself in these small, uncomfortable situations, lifting weights, taking cold showers, taking 10 to 15 minutes just to get off your phone, just to get off anything and just allow your mind to not be consumed by all this stuff you're watching or whatever. Doing all of that is just going to set you up better in the long term,
Right.
Just doing the hard things now so that the future becomes easier.
Right. And it builds up your endurance also, and it prepares you for what's next and what's going to be coming up in the future, because you could be thrown into a position where it's tough and it's uncomfortable, but in the past, you've known that you've had to endure all this other stuff, and it took time, but you ended up getting that W, all because you waited and you went through the process. So it's just like it builds up your endurance and it teaches you discipline. As Jordan always says, another name drop, discipline must take the place when motivation just isn't there. You cannot live off of motivation. You got to take advantage of that motivation when it's there, take advantage of it. But if you don't have that motivation, you have to be disciplined to do it.
Exactly. Because, you can have that motivation, that quick little burst. But, some people, even if you do feel motivated, some people don't take advantage of that. And taking advantage of that comes back to discipline, to get up and do something when you have to do it. It doesn't matter if you feel like it, So, yeah. Delaying gratification definitely builds up that discipline, because when you're doing things that you don't like on a day-to-day, you're automatically telling your body to just do whatever you got to do. Do what you got to do. And in life, you got to do what you got to do. You're not always going to feel like going to work. You're not always going to feel like doing assignments. You're not always going to feel like paying bills, but you have to do what you have to do. And you're training yourself to do that with small victories every day.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my mentors, he's actually my professor, he made this analogy once to me, and he said life is like shoveling snow. When you get this big snowstorm, then it stops snowing, and the sun is out, and the snow is just piled up on your driveway, you got to shovel that snow and take that snow out the driveway. That's what you have to do, and it's better for you to confront that, take all the snow out, and pile it up somewhere so you have a clear access to where you need to go. Because if you just leave the snow out there, it's going to turn into ice because it's going to get colder at night, and it's going to be more slippier, and now you're in a slippery slope, and you ain't got nowhere to go, and you're barricaded in. But if you had just went outside and shoveled that snow, shoveled up that high pile, you would have been fine. So even though you don't want to go to work, even though you don't want to do your schoolwork, even though you're so tired you don't feel like making a YouTube video or a podcast video or doing whatever it is that you want to do, you still got to shovel all of that and get it out the way. So that way you have clear, free access to whatever you want to do in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough. It's tough, but
it is.
It's like once you build up that courage and you build up that strength, you're able to do it, and it gets easier with time, or manageable. I wouldn't say easier because it's never easy, but it gets manageable.
Yeah, exactly. It's just you're more equipped to do it. Like I said, like with weights, weights never get lighter. Your body gets stronger. So. That's how I look at it with other things.
Right. This may tie into your self-improvement journey where you really started getting serious on improving yourself, but when did you take up NoFap and join the NoFap community and started changing your life with that? I know for me, it was November 2020 when I first started it. I was just like, you know what? I'm done doing PMO. I'm done. Tired of it. Of course, relapse, I think a month later, but ever since March of 2021, I've been clean ever since, about to hit that 1 year mark next month. I'm ready for it, but hey, I'm trying to make this a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? But for you, when did you start doing that?
Hey, first of all, I'm proud of you for, staying strong. I know it can be a hard thing, but especially that type of addiction. So I'm really proud of you. And yeah, thing is, I've known about it since, I want to say, summer 2019. It was off a Spiritual Soul video when he was talking about NoFap. And I watched the video, and I was just watching it, and I was just hearing all these things. I was just shocked, and I was like, wow, I didn't know, it was that detrimental to your mental health and your physical health, So after that video, I went cold turkey for, I want to say, 3-4 months, and then I relapsed, and then I kind of stopped for a while. I didn't really, because that's whenever I relapsed, the pandemic kind of started, so everybody was in the house. I wasn't really on NoFap during that period of time, and then once the beginning of 2021 hit, like March, April, that's when I started to, that's when I started my self-improvement journey for real. Like, I got serious about it. And then ever since then, I was like, you know what? Let me get on NoFap. Let me start trying this again. Let me get on stimulant retention. And then ever since then, I've had a couple of relapses, but ever since, I want to say around beginning June. So I've been good. I've been good. I've been really being mindful, really staying strong, being aware of urges and stuff like that, transmuting. And yeah, I've been cool.
Hey, that's good, man. That's beautiful. And I mean, congratulations, kudos to you for being able to stay that strong and stay consistent with it, because it's not easy. It really isn't easy. Like, there have been times throughout this entire almost year process where I was just like, you know what, I'm ready to just give it up. Yeah. I can't take it anymore. But it's like, that you can continue to keep going, and you know that you have that endurance inside of you to keep going. So it's just like, why screw that up and mess it up? So I mean, that's what keeps me going, and it's crazy to think how much of a difference it's made on me personally, staying strong and staying clean. I look at pictures for myself from 2020, 2019, 2018. It's just like, man, you can tell I was just deep in it. You know, there's a difference, and now I see a profound difference in my mentality and my mental health, my spirituality. I'm more close to the Lord and everything, all because I'm being able to stay, you know, clean. And it's not easy, but it's like I said, that discipline you build up, it allows you to keep going, and you transmute that energy into other areas in your life.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a part of the reason why I've been so consistent. And, you know, I found a lot of success early on in YouTube because, you know, you're just using that energy to create videos on top of videos on top of videos, just staying consistent. And, you know, when you're doing it, it's like staying consistent isn't even, you know, that hard to you because it becomes a part of you because you have this energy to just keep creating, you know. And another reason why I want to, you know, give thanks to God, you know, praying and asking to free, you know, myself from this addiction, free myself from these chains, and you're really just giving thanks to God because, you know, you can't do everything by yourself. You know, we're only human, so
right.
You just gotta give praise.
Right. And one of the things I had to tell myself early on, and just continue to tell myself, because it's still a battle, it's still a struggle, and it's that I'm already free from it because I'm not doing it anymore. I had to put it in my mind that, because I would tell myself, like, you know, I'm praying that by this day I'm going to be free from it once and for all. I'm praying that by this time I'm going to finally be free. And it's just like recently I've been telling myself, like, no, I am free.
Right,
like
free.
I've broken these chains. Yes, I'm going to be, you know, tempted, but I am free from this. And I feel like the more I tell myself that, the more I'm not even going to be thinking about a relapse. Because sometimes I'd be thinking like, hey, on this day I'm a relapse, or on that day I'm gonna just relapse. And it's like, no, I can't do that to myself.
Yeah. That's a good mentality, because once you're not doing it, you know, you need to have that thing where, okay, I'm not doing it. That's in the past, you know. Instead of having this mindset where, okay, I'm changing. No, I'm changed, you know. Put that out there, put it in your head, ingrain it in your head, in your belief system that, okay, this is done. That's the past. This is who I am now. You know, I'm not changing. I'm changed. I'm not addicted anymore. I'm not fighting it. It's, you know, I'm not fighting the battle anymore. I'm done, you know?
Right.
That's a really good mindset to adopt, for real.
Yeah, it's in the past. My pastor, I remember he used to kind of go through some stuff also with drugs and alcohol, and he was able to be saved from that by the Lord, and he got saved and went ahead and did his thing. And I remember there were a few times when he would be preaching, and his past friends or his family would be like, hey, remember when you were doing this? Remember when you were doing that? And he was like, no, I don't remember that. That me is dead. You know, that was in the past. That's not me anymore. I'm a new creature. And it's just like, I feel like people within this community, or even with any other addiction also, you just have to look at it as, I'm free from that. That's not me anymore. And just own it, you know, own it. Yeah. What kind of advice would you give to anyone that's fighting that type of, you know, sexual immorality or sexual sin, or that addiction really, and struggling to fight it?
Really, just first of all, you know, especially when you've been doing that, when you've been dealing with PMO for so long, don't let one relapse, two relapse, three relapses knock you off your journey and just you quit it. Because, you know, with any addiction, anything that's deep rooted, bro, of course you're going to relapse, you know. Just look at it as a part of the process, because a lot of people, when they relapse, they get really, really, really discouraged and they just quit altogether, kind of like how I did back in 2019, you know. And you just get yourself deeper into your to a hole. But you have to be faithful, and you have to be strong that even through a relapse, you're still gonna get through this. You know, you still got it. It's just a bump in the road on the path to victory, you know? So that's the main advice, is just don't stop. Just don't stop. It doesn't matter. Just keep going. If you have the mindset that you really want to quit and you really want to stop for good, you will get there. And also ask for help. Pray. Ask for God's strength. You know, ask him to fight that battle as well. You know, before you go to sleep, pray for protection from any, you know, succubus or any sexual demons or whatever. You know, just always ask for help, because you can only rely on willpower and discipline for so long because, yeah, even now we still get those urges, right? It's not going to go away. But, the more that you pray and the more that you just stay away, the more you do these things, you transmute your energy to other facets of your life, the more equipped you are going to be to handle those urges and just handle the temptation and all of that.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing more, just praying and talking to God about it when those urges come. Because sometimes I wouldn't even talk to him. I'd just be like, oh, like I'm just going crazy. Like It's like, what do I do? But now it's like, man, I hit my knees on the ground. I pray, try to speak some scriptures out in the atmosphere, put it out in the atmosphere to fight against the devil and what he's trying to say. And it's just like the fight's over with, the battle's over with, because God has stepped in to the situation and he's taking advantage of it. So, definitely prayer and being with the Lord has definitely been helpful. And also just talking with other people about it, because this is a struggle that lots of people deal with, but it's so taboo that nobody really talks about it. And I wish there was more of a conversation about it. And hey, I give credit to Jordan, because that's how I found the community. I was 2020, and of course I was like looking up like, hey, is this like real? Do people really do this? And I saw that he was doing it, and I was like, man, this dude's my age. He's doing that, I think I can do that also. So it's nice to know that there are dudes out there that are owning it, and they're just being transparent about it. And that's what I'm looking to do now.
Yeah, that's a big factor that not a lot of people talk about, because with an addiction like PMO, most people keep it secret, keep it to themselves. It's not like of course you can keep most addictions secret, but if you look at somebody that has an alcohol addiction or, drugs, you can kind of see that. But with something like PMO, it's really harder to tell if somebody's struggling with that, And a big way in kind of freeing yourself from that addiction is telling somebody, having an accountability partner, or just being transparent with that. Because once it's not a secret anymore, you feel like you have other people that can help you, other people that can provide resources. That's why I say, if you really have nobody else to say it to, whatever, just give it to God, talk to God, pray.
Right.
And so literally just telling it to somebody else that's not you is going to help you, because it's not all on you. The pressure's not all on you,
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we touched on that and we got that out there in the open. That was like my first time really going in depth about it on the podcast. I know me and Jordan, we talked about it briefly, but, I was always embarrassed by it. But now, the Lord has given me the strength to just own it. Who knows?
Yeah.
What we're talking about right now could probably save somebody who's listening to this. So thank you for being transparent and sharing your truth with that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No problem.
Yeah. Shifting gears from that, man, talk to me about your life growing up. What was your childhood like?
Man, I was kind of a troublemaker early on,
Awesome.
I'm from Fort Worth. Grew up southeast Fort Worth, kind of not too far from Oak Cliff. So I was a troublemaker. I was always getting in trouble at school, fighting, just doing these things. And I had the first school I went to, I had actually got moved from that school to a Catholic school. I forgot the name. It was like Mary Concept, something like that. But yeah, I had moved to a Catholic school, and my parents wanted to get my act together. I was only like 5, 6, 7 at the time, just doing all these things. Going outside with friends, playing football on the road. So yeah, it was that, and also football. Football was a big part of my childhood. I remember growing up watching the Cowboys with my dad, watching Tony Romo, T.O., Jason Witten, Marion Barber, all those guys on TV. And it became a big part of who I am. I still love football. The school that I'm at right now, I had a partial scholarship to play football here, so it's just, and the lessons that I learned from football, have followed me and have helped me navigate life as a teenager, early teen, or late teen now, about to be in my 20s, so it's just, man, my childhood was crazy, but I'm glad that I went through the things I did to get here,
Yeah, absolutely. I know we touched on God and praying. Were you a spiritual person growing up, or was that something that you adapted over time as you got older?
That's a good question. My family are very religious. My mom is very, very religious. My grandma very religious. I've always been around it, but as a kid, it wasn't really something that I really understood 100%. And because of that, I don't think I could really allow myself to really understand and get deep into the practices. But as I got older and, as life started happening, I really started to really try to strengthen my faith, strengthen my relationship with God. And I'm not saying that it's perfect now. I'm still trying to strengthen that relationship, still trying to figure out, still trying to navigate through life. But I'm on a better path now, and I'm on a better, level now than I was maybe 10 years ago,
Right. I can relate to that. I was always in the church growing up. My family was always really religious, but I never understood, why we were in church, what my pastor was really talking about. I was just going there just to go there and think, and I always thought that, well, I'm here. Well, now I'm saved pretty much. And it doesn't really work like that. It's like, not only do you have to go to church, you also have to have that relationship with Christ and, always talk to him about pretty much everything. And you have to live a life according to him and his will and what he is asking of you to do. So it's like, as you said, when I got older and life started happening and there were things that were really overwhelming me, I was able to kind of go back to my roots and go back to what everybody was teaching me. And it was like, oh, like this makes sense. Like I'm feeling stressed out right now because the devil is using my fears and everything that I'm worried about. And he's attacking me with that. And he wants me to draw to him and not to God. So it's just like all of these things are making sense and why you have to be prayed up. Scripture says put on the full armor of God, and we got to have that armor on a day-to-day basis. And it was just being able to feel God's presence in that moment when I was 17 and really talk to him about what I was going through and see him work a miracle through me. As we talked about earlier, long-term gratification, continuing to pray, and then seeing that intended result that I was looking for. It was like everything makes sense.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's just crazy how, these things, that we experienced early on, going to church, how we don't really understand it, but it's like a seed planted in our head to come back to it whenever we start experiencing life and start experiencing turmoils of life. We always have Christ. We always have the church to fall back on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that, planting seeds. I don't think I've told this story on the podcast before, but I was up in the pulpit with my pastor, and he had me stand up in front of everybody, and he was just like, this man is going to be a leader doing fellowship when he is older. And I remember he said that, and I was like, no way. There's no way I'm going to be a leader. There's no way I'm not going to do that. In my mind, I'm thinking that. But it's been almost 5 years since that happened, and here I am with the podcast, getting my degree in education, getting ready to lead an entire classroom. It's not a ministry by any means, but you know what I'm saying? I'm doing something where people are looking up to me. And if it wasn't for my pastor planting that seed in that moment, then, half of this stuff wouldn't happen.
That's beautiful, man. That really is beautiful. For real. Shout out that pastor.
Yeah, okay. Pastor Oliver. He passed away 2020, but I know his spirit's with me and everything, and I still have his recordings from his sermons, so sometimes I listen to that, but hey, that man definitely made an impact on me.
God bless his soul. Yeah,
absolutely. Dude, what kickstarted your YouTube journey? What made you want to get on YouTube and start creating videos?
Man, this is crazy. So I know that ever since I was a youngin', like really young, I always wanted to make videos on YouTube. I always wanted to be, just somebody that makes videos. And I remember back whenever I was young, whenever I was playing with Legos, I would build these houses and I'd want to put them on YouTube. And later on, through middle school, I started recording, some more videos just for fun and, kind of uploading those. But whenever I got to high school, that's when I don't want to say to start taking serious, but that's when I had more resources to do YouTube, I remember I would just record gameplay of like 2K or Madden or GTA or things like that, but not really consistently. And then once I graduated, I was making like videos like once a week, just to not really to go anywhere with it, but just kind of for the people that knew me, you know. The moment that I decided to, you know, actually kind of get the ball rolling with YouTube was January 1st. It was New Year 2021. And I kind of told myself, like, you know, I could do something with this, you know. And my ex, you know, the girl I was with at the time, she was kind of like, yeah, like, you know, she would hear me talk to myself sometimes, and she would be like, yeah, you could really do something with YouTube. Like, you could go far. And it wasn't until March of last year when we broke up, that's when I was like, you know what, let me actually start doing this. Let me actually put the pieces together. Let me actually go somewhere with this, you know. And I didn't want to just make any type of content. I wanted to help people, because at that time I was going through it. You know, I was really struggling. I was really depressed. I wasn't eating a lot. You know, I wasn't doing these things to really keep up, maintain myself. So I just wanted to make sure that nobody felt like how I did back then. I wanted to help people that maybe did feel like that get out of that. So I really started, you know, creating content like that. I wanted to just help people at that point. That's when I was like, nah, let me just help people, as much people as I can. And here I am today.
Wow, man, that's beautiful, you know, to be able to take what you were going through at that time and transmute that into a platform where you're helping other people and you're making a difference in their lives. I just think that's so incredible.
Yeah, man, through God's grace. It's kind of crazy because, you know, during those times where I was really down, when I was really, you know, just down on my luck, just really going through it, the guys that I was watching Jordan, I was watching Pierre Amichia, I was watching these guys that, you know, I now know and have really good friendships with, and just relationships outside of YouTube. It's just kind of crazy how life works, you know. It's just something I don't take for granted. It's just like, wow, you know, that's crazy. You know, it's just it's really cool sometimes.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
Cool.
Shout out to the boy Rami. I'm trying to get him on the show. I think it's crazy.
Talk to him about getting him on here.
Yeah,
sure.
I think it's crazy that he's a senior in high school and he's already ahead of the curve. Like when I was his age, no way. I was not among my spiritual journey or my self-improvement journey. But I'm really proud of him, and I don't even know the guy, but just seeing the growth and what he's doing with his life is just incredible.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that is crazy. You know, senior high school. I wasn't even on that wavelength either, but shout out to him, man. He's doing his thing for real.
Yeah, him and I am lucid. Built different. Yeah. That dude is just built different.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Lucid, man.
Yeah, but I picked up my podcast, I want to say April 2020, because that was when the pandemic first hit. And I was already posting inspirational, motivational stuff on my social media and stuff like that, but I really wanted to gravitate that and turn that into something where people can become encouraged and inspired. And I was doing these Instagram lives, but of course I started off, so there's only like 2 people or 3 people listening to it. And I was just like, I want to make a platform where people can go back and listen to it, and they're listening to me and my story, but they're also getting encouraged by somebody else's story and how they overcame the trials and obstacles in their life. So I started doing that, I think April and May. I did like 5 or 7 episodes, and afterwards I was just like, you know what, I'm not getting the results I'm seeing, like I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that short-term gratification instead of working hard and getting that long-term gratification. So I remember after a month of doing it, my uncle, he was just like, you know, why'd you stop dropping those episodes? And I told him, I was like, I'm not getting the views I was looking for. And he was just like, you just got to keep going. And then that momentum will build up and you'll get what you were looking for. So I was just like, you know, F it. You know, I'm going to just go out and I'm going to go all in. So from July 2020 up until March 2021, I was uploading 2 episodes a week, just building up my brand and everything. And that's when I reached out to Jordan in November of 2020, because eventually he saw what I was doing and he took that chance with me. And then once I had Jordan on the show, and of course he advertised it, that's just when my numbers started going up and people really started investing in my product. And it was just a beautiful thing to be able to share my story and the stories of other people and have other people become inspired and encouraged by it. And we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary in a few months, and I just think it's incredible that I'm still doing this.
Yeah, congratulations on that. You know, 2 years, that's crazy. But that's really I want to talk about building momentum, man, especially when you're creating a or whenever you're strengthening your platform, you know. When I first started to, I feel like a lot of people need to hear this because a lot of people, in my circle, they want to become YouTube. They want to know how to start getting subscribers, start getting views or whatever. But what I did at first, I kind of understood that you need to have some type of momentum. You need to get the ball rolling, in some way. So what I did at first, I started making reaction videos, because I know reaction videos with YouTube, they kind of, generate some type of, I want to say they're kind of easy to do and people tend to look for it. People like reactions. So I did reactions, and not only did I do reactions, but I would react to like my friends' music, people around me so that they would invite other people to watch and they would share it and all that. So people would be coming in, and I did about 5, 6, 7, 8 reactions, and I would post every day. I would drop every single day. I made sure it was a point to remain consistent, so I had more people coming in. I have more content to put out. So I posted every single day, and I gained like 30 or 40 subscribers just off of that, right? And then one day I just dropped a no-fat video. Just boom. I just decided to just, let me just start. And then people, you would think the people from the reactions, they'd be like, oh, no, like, we're here for the reactions. We don't really want to mess with that. But that video actually did really, really well, So I was like, okay, I'm glad that, they received this. Now I'm going to just start doing this because this is what I really want. I was kind of using the reactions as a means to get to where I really want to go, and that's helping people, So, yeah.
Yeah, it's important to just be consistent with it and then, continue to build up on that momentum. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's just something that you just have to continue to keep doing. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to get everything that you want instantly. That's why you have to take your time and build that momentum and build that endurance. So that way, when you do get to where you're at, you're more appreciative of what you had to do to get to that point. And then it's just like, you got to keep going. You have to keep up with that momentum, which can become difficult, which is going to kind of segue into my next question. Do you ever deal with creative frustration? Do you ever feel, confused or frustrated at times with what you're trying to create?
Oh, man. Honestly, yeah, I'll say yeah. Sometimes I'll record a video and I'll look back on it and be like, I could have did better here. I could have explained this here. Or I didn't really get the full message that I wanted to across. And, it's just really just, I had to ask myself after making videos and looking back through, I'm like, am I proud of this? Like, did I try my best? Did I really try and get the message across? Am I proud of putting this out? And, if the answer is no, then I'll scrap the video, and I just want to, my passion for helping people is so strong that if I feel like it's not the standard I want it to be, then it's just, not good enough to put out there. And it's a good mindset to have, but sometimes, it's despite what I think, if it's bad in my eyes, somebody out there could really, really use it, could really learn something from it, So I've been kind of battling with that, because I'm not the only one, I'm helping almost 1,200 people now. So despite if I think it's good, I know somebody is going to watch the video and it's really going to resonate with them. So yeah, in a way, I have been dealing with that creative frustration, and it's a battle. But I feel like the more people that I come across, the more people that I've helped, it's gonna get easier to kind of put down my own ego, put down my own, criticism, and just really just focus on helping people in whatever way I can, despite the message, even if in my standard, I don't find it, good enough, somebody else will. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that, being able to turn that self-criticism around and being like, well, I don't like it. But even though I don't like it, what if somebody that's listening to this is able to gain something from it and like it?
Yeah.
I think that's something I need to adapt, because there's been instances where I've done episodes and I've hit the off button and go, that was an awful episode. That was just terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't get the person to open up the way I wanted them to. I felt like the conversation didn't flow well. And I was just like, I feel embarrassed to even put this up. You know what I mean? And, you know, sometimes the episode doesn't do right and doesn't do well view wise. And it's just like, well, what am I doing wrong? Was that person not good enough? Do I need to shift what I'm talking about on the show? And then there are times when episodes do really well and it oversees my expectations for what I had for it. So I feel like if I get out of that mentality of I'm doing this for the views and I'm doing this for the gratification of everything, and turn that around and being like, I'm doing this because it's going to help somebody. It's going to help one person. If it can help one person, then my mission's complete. If I can just shift my mindset around to that, then I'll be good.
Yeah, and also just having that mindset of, did I do my best? You know, because of course I had videos where I put in a lot of effort and they don't do as well as I wanted to, and they kind of flop. And yeah, it kind of hurts a little bit, but at the end of the day, I can ask, did I do my best? And is it going to help one person? Is it going to help somebody? And most of the times those answers are yes. And I can go to sleep and I can be happy with that, even despite the numbers, even despite, you know, whatever happening. I can be happy that I know it's going to touch somebody. I know it's going to help somebody get up out of their ways, you know. So that's what I'm thankful for. That's what I try to remember every time a video doesn't do as well as I wanted to.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. I'm trying to shift it and focus on, I'm not going to use people as a stepping stone. I'm going to use this as an experience for myself and for my viewers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the right way. And with, you know, every quote unquote failure, of course, there's a lesson in it. So yeah, you can ask yourself like, what am I supposed to learn from, you know, this video not doing as well? Did I post at the right time? Or in your podcast, like, you know, what did I not hit on all the topics I wanted to? You know, does the conversation not flow right? Yeah, there's things that you can take away from it as well. So don't, you know, ignore those. But at the same time, you gotta sometimes you just gotta be content with, you know, the fact that you are gonna help just one person. If the video gets 3, 4, 5 views, you helped 5 people potentially, you know?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that.
Of course, no problem.
Yeah. Shifting gears from that, you know, before we talk about your college experience, what you're majoring in and whatnot, I want to talk to you about your college experience, your journey. How have you been able to adapt to embracing failures, learning from those mistakes, and being able to press forward with what you're intending to do in the future?
It's just different. It's really, I just know that it's different from high school, for real. I know in high school, like, you know, I don't want to say I didn't take school serious, but it's like, you really, in college, you kind of really have to be on your P's and Q's more so than in high school, because in high school, you got teachers, you got tutors, you got all these things helping you like that. But in college, they just give you what you got to do, and it's on you to go practice, and it's on you to do what you're supposed to do outside of lectures, outside of classes, you know? So it's really just, and on top of that, it's time management as well, you know? So it's just really a balance, finding the balance between those two, and just being not hard on myself, but remind myself to access the resources that I need to become successful in school, and just changing the mindset. You know, it kind of took me a while to realize that, you know, this isn't going to be the same rodeo that I was in high school. So it's just more responsibility and doing what I have to do more so on my own time than, you know, kind of doing stuff last second like you could in high school.
Right. I think it was last year in my spring semester where I really started becoming okay with accepting those failures, accepting those mistakes, and trying to learn from it so I didn't make those same mistakes again. Because I'm a perfectionist, and if it's not right, then I'm gonna just beat myself up over it. And it's not. Sometimes it's good to be a perfectionist because you set goals and you have a good idea with where you want to go. But sometimes it can be a hindrance because when you don't get that intended result that you want, you can just beat yourself up. You can just put yourself in a depression because you're just like, well, I didn't get what I wanted, so what's the point of even doing it? But, being able to learn from those mistakes and, be able to say, okay, I messed up, and this is what I need to do differently, and then being able to learn from that mistake, it's rewarding, and it ties back into long-term gratification. I feel like that's the theme for this episode is long-term gratification, just taking your time, learning from those mistakes, and being able to just take your time. It's not a race. It's not a rush. Just be patient.
Yeah, exactly. It's a marathon, not a sprint, And, man, like, of course, in any path, any journey, failure is going to come up. Like, it's not anything that's, that shouldn't, it's just a little roadblock in the road, It's just the only way to succeed and win from those failures is just learning the lessons that come from it and understanding it and then applying it so that you don't fall into those same mistakes again. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Shifting gears from that, what prompted you to go to college? Of course, you could have did an alternative route, went to work straight out of school, could have did YouTube full time and made your career off of that. What made you choose college? What is your major? And what are some of the things that you've learned in your academic journey?
So my parents, they both got their masters, and education is really big in my family because, my parents, my mom is African. I come from an African household, so it's really embedded, like education. So it was really no question whether I was going to college or not. Everybody in my family has, so it was just expected of me to go, and it even helped more because whenever I was playing football in high school, the school I'm at now offered a partial scholarship to pay for some of my school to come here. So that's what I'm doing. It just made it an easier decision. And some things that I learned, in education and just college and just whatever, it's that, man, it's really not like, some people looking at from high school, on the outside looking in, you might think, sometimes you don't have to go to class 7 or 5 days a week. Sometimes you have free days. Sometimes, you have class, you have lectures, whatever. On the outside looking in, you might think, you think it's less school. It's going to be easier. But in reality, man, that is not the case at all. Not the case. Not the case at all. And really just understanding that and adapting that because, you're getting ready for life and you're getting ready for a job. You're getting ready for that outside experience. You're just learning how to manage time. And that's really the biggest thing that I think I've learned so far is just how to manage my time properly, better, just doing that. Because I feel like in college, if you can't really manage your time safely, if you can't put away time to study, if you can't put away time to, take notes, go back, maybe listen to lectures again through recorded sessions or just doing the things that you have to, you're not really going to succeed. And, that goes beyond just college or school because in life, you're going to need to manage time. You're going to need to know, what things to put away for this time, what things to do at this time and do this, do that, especially when you get out into the quote unquote real world, So, that's the biggest thing that I've learned so far. Of course, there probably is going to be more and better lessons I learned. I'm only in year 1, so, what do I know now? But so far, that's really what I've taken away from it.
Yeah, year 1. So you're 18?
19.
19. Man, I thought you was my age. I thought you was 21 or 22.
Nah. Nah.
Man, you a youngin'. I mean, we all youngins.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, man, we all babies still.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
grand scheme of life.
Yeah, but that's really what college is, man. It's just it's time management, and like you said, you hit it right on the head. If you can't manage your time wisely in college, you're not going to be able to transmute that into the real world when you have your career and you got to be on time for your job, or when you have deadlines for your job and you mess up on that deadline because you was playing PlayStation, over the weekend, and you wasn't on your P's and Q's, man. I mean, it's just really important. I remember my first year of college, I got a D in math because I wasn't using my time managed wisely. And I never had a D in math. Middle school, 6th grade, that was the last time I ever had a D in math. And I got a D in math my freshman year. And I remember my professor just like, well, you're not going to pass with this class, it's not going to transfer through, you're going to have to retake it. Luckily I didn't end up retaking it, but it just taught me like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to go out like this, get a D and just pass my way through college. So I've had to take 2 math classes my junior year right now, and I passed them with a B in the fall, and I got a C in the winter semester. Hey, math is hard. You know what I'm saying?
Math is hard.
I'll take a C.
Hey, I'll be the first to say that math is hard. I do not like math at all.
Math does not come easy to me at all. So I was just like, screw it. I'll take a 76%.
Exactly. Hey, man, congratulations to you. Shout out to you because, boy, nah.
Yeah, it's just like you have to adapt with your routine and like find ways to study and do your work. Like luckily for me with my job, I have a lot of downtime. So I'd bring my laptop in and I would bring my notebook and I'd be doing my math homework and studying right there, just taking advantage of that. So that way when I go home, I can either do a podcast episode or I can do some self-care, play my Xbox, just chill out. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned, finding ways to adapt to what you're doing within your routine and finding a way to, squeeze that in.
For sure, man, for sure.
Yeah, overall, I know that, it's 2022. The year just started. I feel like it's going by fast. What are some of the goals that you have for yourself for this year, if you have any?
I know a big goal I have for myself is to get, YouTube-wise, is to get 10,000 on YouTube for the end of the year. And most people might be like, oh, that's crazy. You're only at 1.2K. But I believe in myself, and I know that I can do it. Especially, I haven't been consistently making videos for a year yet. In May, June-ish, that would be the 1 year mark, So if I'm in the mentality where if I can do this in, 6-7 months, if I can get to 1K in 6-7 months, who knows what I can do consistently posting videos for an entire 365 days, So I'm just looking at it from potential wise. So that's a goal YouTube wise and faith wise, myself. I just want to strengthen my relationship with God and just, start living, not that I haven't been living, but just really just start living the way he wants me to and accepting that the way that he wants me to be, just really just strengthening that relationship with Christ. That's like my personal goal, because in the past, even though I've been more into it, I've been inconsistent, I've been, there have been months where I'm really into it and months where I fall off and don't really practice my faith, so it's just really for the whole year, just staying strong, just every day when I wake up, before I go to sleep, is he the first person I'm talking to? Is he the last person I'm talking to before I go to sleep? So it's just that.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about Christ, is that Christ still loves us even if we drift off and stray away, because we gave our life to him, and so we have grace and we are saved by his love and by his mercy. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that, this man gave his life for us. He took on all of our sins, everything, and he was, by all accounts, the perfect human being to walk the face of earth, and he took all of that to save us from the guilt, the shame, the punishment that we deserve. And I just think that's such a beautiful thing, that God still loves us even when we make mistakes.
Amen. Yeah, beautiful. I'm forever grateful for that. I'm just comfortable, even if I slip up, because we're only human, and even if I make mistakes, not on purpose, of course, but just having that reassurance that if I just repent and just ask for forgiveness, God's gonna be willing with open arms to forgive it, as long as I learn and don't keep making the same mistakes again willingly, So
right, absolutely. Yeah. I know I've been so grateful to have this conversation with you, dude. So grateful for your time and us having this conversation. My last question to you before I go ahead and let you go is, when you think about it, what do you want your legacy to be as a YouTuber and as an individual in general? When you go out of this world, what do you want your legacy to be?
Man, I love that question. I just, when I think about that, I think of, I don't know if you can see, but I have a Kobe jersey on my wall over there.
Hey, I got a Kobe poster on my wall.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try and see. Yeah, he's on the wall.
That's fire. But You know, every day I wake up, I look at that Kobe jersey, and I think of all the things that he's remembered for, you know, Mamba mentality, hard work, outworking everybody, and just being dedicated and not letting anything stop you in the way of what you want. I just think of that, and I'm like, you know, I just want to be consistent with whatever I'm doing. Doesn't matter if it's YouTube, school, putting that hard work, you know, in the gym, doing all of that. I want to be remembered for somebody that didn't quit, somebody that paved the way for a lot of people to better themselves and become the best version of themselves possible, you know. That's what I want to be remembered for. I just want to be somebody that helped as many people as he could. And of course, set my family up, set myself up for financial security as well. So just want to be remembered as a leader and somebody that didn't stop to get to where he wanted to.
Right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. The one thing I've learned about the Mamba mentality, I always thought that applied to basketball, but it applies to life in general. You know, you don't have to outwork somebody on the basketball court if you don't play basketball. Outwork them at your job. Outwork them in your classroom. You know, outwork them. Put in the work and just do what you have to do so you can be the greatest of all time. Not one of the greatest, but you know, the greatest. Be the best, and that's what I aspire to be the most. You know, in my room, I got a poster of Muhammad Ali. You can't see it. I got a poster of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X on top of my study area where I study. And of course, when I wake up, I got Kobe looking at me. So I'm definitely not going to relapse because I don't want him to be disappointed in me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just try to have, you know, that positive mindset and just try to, you know, just do my best. I'm not perfect by any means, and I'm working on accepting that. But I know if I can just work hard and do my best, then that's all that matters.
Amen.
Yup. Well, Pierre, I had a great time talking with you, man. Like I said, this is our first conversation. Everything flowed well. I got an hour out of you. That means the episode was fire, and I can't wait to keep in touch with you. And here's hoping that we can, you know, do this again sometime.
Yeah, man. Again, thank you for having me on. Shout out to Jordan for, you know, kind of bridging this together, making this happen. I've had a great hour, a great conversation. You know, I really got to feel like I connected with somebody on a really deep level today, and that's beautiful. And I can't wait to keep talking to you in maybe another episode, you know, in the near future. That'd be great.
Definitely a collab episode with you, Jordan, Rami, Spiritual Duval, all y'all.
Oh, yeah. That'd be beautiful, man. That'd be beautiful. We got to make that happen for sure.
Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you for your time, man, and you have a great day.
Oh, yeah. You too, bro, for sure.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yep. All right. This wraps up the podcast. Stay blessed and stay encouraged.